Hello, we're going to look in this video at reasons why authors don't build email lists. We know that email marketing really is the #1 way to increase book sales, but so few authors actually do it. It's a really small percentage of people who do it and get it right and get really terrific results that rocket their book sales. So we're going to look at some of the reasons that authors have for not doing email marketing, and they really are reasons, they're not excuses. There are a lot of fears and misconceptions tied up with email marketing, and I just want to go through these quickly to show you that you can overcome them. So the first thing is that they think it's too expensive. The truth is that there is a charge for most services. However, MailChimp has a free option, and it's a good option. There's nothing wrong with MailChimp. There's an entry-level option that you can actually keep for life if you don't go over 2,000 subscribers or you send out lots and lots of emails a month. For a lot of people, they stay with this free option for either for a long time or for life, so it is a good option. There are some limits with that, but they're not insurmountable. The next objection people have is that they think it's too difficult. They think it's incredibly daunting when they hear people say that they have a year's worth of emails written, talk about segmenting lists and having multiple lead magnets and things like that. Well, email marketing is a skill like any other that can be learned. And if you want to get into it and just do the basics, it's really actually quite simple. It doesn't take long to pick up the skills that you need. The next objection authors have is that they think it will take up too much time. Many authors are already completely overwhelmed and they don't want to take on yet another thing that they have to do. But actually, if you learn how to use email marketing and you get into it, you can set up your system very quickly. And if you want to use autoresponders, that's emails that go out automatically, you can plug those in and forget about it. You can go away and write for 6 months on a desert island and not have to think about it because it will be doing the work for you, which is really great. The other objection people have, and this is very prevalent, I've seen this a lot, is that they think the technology is too confusing. And often they've actually tried it, they've signed up with a free offer or a free MailChimp account, and they have a go, and because they don't understand the terminology, they just find it completely bewildering and they give up. Now, actually, it's just a matter of following a process. Different email service providers call it different things, but once you know the basic steps that you need to go through, it really is simple. It is an ABC process. Authors often say that they don't want to become all salesy, they don't want to be screaming buy my book at people, and they assume that the emails that you send out to people are going to be very salesy. In fact, it's not a good idea to do that. Email marketing is very much about relationship building. It's about getting that conversation going and building a level of trust that goes both ways. Yes, you can talk about your books and say that you've got one coming out soon, and that is a great way of hitting the ground running, because if you've already built that relationship up with people who've previously bought your books and you say you have another one coming out and you may have it on a special offer, then they know they have a limited amount of time and they will get that quite quickly. A lot of authors who do email marketing are reporting phenomenal success with talking to their existing list when they have a new book coming out. And finally, authors often say that they don't know what to write in the emails that they need to send to people. So here are a few ideas of things you could write about in your emails. And emails are best kept short, so you don't have to find too much information to put in them. If you're a novelist, you may have done a lot of writing that didn't make the final cut of your book. So you might have extended character bios or background histories. You may have some deleted scenes, cliffhangers and other things, bits of research, things that inspired you to write your book but didn't actually make the book. So you can put those in emails and you'll find that your fans are really interested in those. If you set your book in the real world and you visited anywhere that's mentioned in your book, that's another thing to talk about in emails. Perhaps you took some photos, perhaps you interviewed people locally, or you jotted down your feelings when you were in the area. Again, all great fodder for emails. For both fiction and non-fiction, it's great to start with the things that you've already written. So your research around your books and things that didn't make the cuts, but also things that are in your books. Because if someone's come to your list via one of your books and you have another book out, you could talk about that book, and it's a way of slightly getting into sales without feeling salesy, because you're just talking about another book. You're not screaming buy my book. It's a great idea to ask questions in your emails that people can hit reply, they can respond to, and that just gets that feeling of creating engagement and making it feel more like a conversation than a one-sided broadcast. You can also ask in your emails what people want you to write about, what they want to hear from you. So this is really valuable as informal market research. You can also offer all sorts of things in your emails. Now, we know that we offer something as a lead magnet, but often people forget that they can have something in their emails themselves that people can download. And again, that creates engagement. That gives people a feeling of really getting a lot of value from you, and they're less likely to unsubscribe. Moving on to non-fiction, you can use things from your books in a series of emails. So you might have a particular topic in one of your books, and you can just have a few bullet points in a couple of emails that go out over a set period of time. If it's from a book that they haven't come onto your list from, then you could actually say, if you want to know more about this topic, here's the link to buy the book, but not in a high pressure way, just in a chatty conversational way. If you're a non-fiction author with a number of books out, this is where you can, if you want to, get clever with your email list, because you can have a number of lists, one for each book, and you can talk about the other books when you're doing emails to those people, and that works really well for a lot of non-fiction authors. Equally, you can do that if you have a lot of books out if you're a novelist, because you might have different series. Now, the thing about autoresponders is you can write out some emails in advance, and you can set them in and tell them to go out once a week or whatever, but you don't have to write dozens and dozens in advance. I know a lot of people do, because they want to just back off from marketing, have it set up and have it going out. But you really don't have to. You don't have to do autoresponders at all if you don't want to. You can just send out what they call broadcast emails, which are live. They go out real time. You can schedule them though, but you don't have to set up autoresponders. The idea of setting up autoresponders is to give you a break, but you only have to be one email ahead of your oldest subscriber. So if they're going out weekly, if you've got the first one written and that goes out, you can then write the second one, which will go out next week, and do as many as you can to stay in advance. But you could just do them weekly yourself if you want to. So it just takes the pressure off a little bit. Now, what we suggest is starting with the basics. When you sign up for something like MailChimp or Aweber or whatever, it comes with default settings. So the first thing you will do is create a list in the software, and then it will want you to set up emails. It will want you to do a confirmation email and a thank you email, and they call them different things, but those are the basic ones, and they will come with default information in them that will just go out to the person who's given you their email address. The first email will go out, and it will say, click the link below if you want to join, to confirm that you want to join this list. So you can just accept those default settings and you'll be up and running. You can then go back later on if you want to and get more fancy. You can put some images in so it looks more like your branding. You can change the text so it sounds more like your voice. But leave that till later. Just get started with the basics for now. Now, if it still seems a little bit complicated and you want to learn how to do it really quickly, you don't want to spend the time working it out and doing the trial and error stuff, and you need to increase your royalties quickly, we've all been there, I have produced a course with my friend Kathy Presland, who is a really experienced book marketer, and it can help you get set up really, really quickly. It's called Email Marketing for Authors, and it walks you through how to use a few different types of email software provider, so that once you have those skills, you could switch to another one or a new one or whatever, because you will know the basics. And you'll find that course, if you want to have a look at it and look what's on the curriculum and see if it's the sort of thing for you, you can find it at www.forauthors.info/em 4, that's the number 4A. Now, you don't have to join the course. Obviously, you could work this out for yourself. But whatever you do, if you're not doing email marketing, just start. Don't worry about getting it wrong. Just have a go and get something in place, because every day that you leave it, every day that you don't start building your list, you're leaving money on the table. You really are. It's the number one way to sell more books, and it's really well worth getting started as soon as you possibly can. Good luck.